Here we go.
Do it.
Okay, cool.
Here we go.
Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Coffin Talkin, where we unravel the mysteries, embrace the peculiar, and find humor in the unconventional world of funerals and death. I'm Holly. I'm here with Frank.
Hi.
Hi.
I guess at this point we can say good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Yeah.
As I'm still in my PJs.
Kind of an odd time to be doing the episode, but it's good. It's good. Yeah. Due to
do what you got to do.
Yeah, due to other surrounding circumstances through the week, we have no other choice. So there it is. So how's your week?
Get our groggy morning voices.
How's your week, Holly?
It was good. I have one update, and that is that Caden, my husband, got so... Okay, he didn't get frustrated because he's just the most patient person in the world. But he kind of got frustrated because every time I fill up my water bottle in the morning and I run out pretty quick because I'm always drinking water.
Yes.
And I just hate filling it up because here's the thing. Our old house that we live in cannot produce cold water. So you get steaming hot water in your water bottle, and then you have to put a whole tray of ice cubes in it. And I hate that process.
Mm-hmm.
I hate it.
Okay.
So every time we're just on the couch or something, I just always ask Caden, can I have a drink of your water? And he said, you know what? I'm ordering you one of those massive water bottles that last the entire day. So now I have this.
What is it, a gallon?
It's a gallon. It's a full gallon. And it gives me a breakdown of where I should be.
Are you sure it's a gallon or is it a half a gallon?
No, it's a gallon. I looked.
Look. Oh, my word. Way to go, Caden.
I have to drink it with two hands. Bringing it up. And honestly, in the morning, my primary factor or my primary motivation to drink it is that it's so heavy.
Mm-hmm. And you want to get it lighter for the day?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that is funny.
So that's my update.
Wow, that's funny.
I know. How was your week?
It was terrible. Thanks, Holly. Let's move on.
So anyways, that's all.
No, it was terrible only because I had a incident with one of my molars. And
that's right.
Oh man.
Tell the people what happened.
Hence the late production of this episode. But I had an abscess on one of my molars, and man, it just kind of incapacitated me for the rest of the week. And it's still hurting and still not taken care of, but I'm on medications right now until the abscess goes away. And so I guess they're going to pull it, which isn't too fun for me, but I guess they're going to pull that tooth and then we'll see where we go from there. But it's been in a lot of pain and very hard eating anything.
Yeah.
So, has not been a good week for me. I don't know. I don't remember, but it's been bad. And then when he gave me the antibiotics, I thought, well, surely the pain would go away, but the pain did not go away. So I finally called him yesterday and I said, look, I'm grateful for the antibiotics, but man, you got to do something with this pain. It's just not. And I can handle pain most anywhere in my body,
right.
But my mouth, I cannot stand it. I just don't like it. And so everything at work slowed down because, man, I would just get headaches and, man, it's not a good week. I'm so far behind right now with work, but hopefully people will be a little more understanding when they hear situations like this, but
yeah.
It wasn't honestly, a good week.
Any pain, I feel like I'm pretty good at handling pain now, but any pain other than your teeth, like when it gets to your teeth, it just aches and your whole head hurts.
Yeah,
and it's like all your bones start to hurt because it's your teeth. It's horrible.
Yeah, it is terrible. So anyway, that was my week. And that was my week because all I could do at work is just hope and just please let me go home now. 12 noon, I was looking at the clock thinking, I got to go home. and,
Oh,
just kind of lay down, put a pack on my mouth, whatever, on the cheek. Oh, man. And I sound like a baby, but I'm telling you, if you want to call me a baby over mouth pain, I'm gladly going to take it
yeah.
and accept it. Yeah, call me a baby. I don't care, because anything I can handle,
Yeah.
but that mouth pain, oh my
Oh, it's the
gosh.
worst. And it's a different sort of pain too. It's like sensitive and
Hmm. Well,
I don't know.
this is a low dull pain, and then I was helping move the ladder and stuff while my son was on the roof. We have a small leak in our roof, and we're expecting 3 days of
Oh,
rain, and so
yeah.
we had to put a tarp up there, which I'm sure will get noted from the HOA. But
Oh, stupid HOA.
I know. So anyway, I was moving the ladder, and I just inadvertently banged the back of my head, and oh my gosh, it just shot reverberations through the entire head, and then it just
Yeah.
focused on my tooth.
Oh,
Oh, it was terrible. I just said, okay, that's it. I'm done. I can't do this anymore. I'm done.
yeah.
Then to top it off, the doctors prescribed me some Tylenol 3 or something for pain. We got to the pharmacy, and what? It's closed.
Oh my gosh.
So here I am still without that pain relief. And it being Sunday, I probably won't go get it today. So that means I'm having to wait till tomorrow. And I'm not looking forward to today.
Oh man, that's horrible.
Yeah.
Well, on that happy note.
Was there anything else that happened? Hold it. There was something that I had. There was something Mom wanted me to mention in the podcast. I don't know how important this is or not, but yes, Girl Scout cookies are out, Holly.
What? That's what Mom wanted to mention?
Yeah. So we did buy 6 boxes, and because
Nice.
I have a hard time chewing, I'm staring at them. And so I'm not really able to participate in the
Yeah.
benefit of the Girl Scout, but they are out. Just so people know,
Oh,
Girl Scout
perfect.
cookies
Yep.
are out, and so please take
Get
advantage of them.
excited, people.
Get excited! They're there, little girls, little smiles. They're hi, thank you, sir. Thank
Hi.
you.
Yeah.
Hi. Only difference is they're $5 a box. Holy
Oh,
moly!
really?
Yes,
Wow.
which is more than what we normally pay, but or have in the past. So it's
Yeah.
all good. It's good.
Yeah, well,
Anyway,
let's jump into this week. It's time to be frank,
thanks,
if you
Holly.
will. Mhm.
Okay, so a little bit of background. And this just happened yesterday, and it made my heart sink just a little bit, because I went to a nursing home, and the thing that struck me most is that there was a secure nursing home. And so I was outside the door, and inside the door, but outside the door, if that makes sense. You go in, and there's a certain
Yeah,
wing
and then they have to
of the facility they have to let you in. But
right.
on the other side of the door, I could hear truly screaming. And then I'd hear one guy, I'm going to tell the doctor next time I see him that you guys are not treating me very nice. Call the doctor. Call him now. I want to see the doctor. And, some
Wow.
of these can just be ramblings of individuals. But as I walked through the door, the guy that was saying, I want to see the doctor, looked at me, and I looked at him and just kind of gave him a brush, just a small little smile. And he said, will you call and taxi for me? Please get me out of here.
Oh my gosh.
And so when you hear comments like that, you just think, okay, how much of that is delusional?
Right.
And really, truly, how much of that is individuals in poor care and keeping of the patients they're in charge of?
Yeah.
And so anyway, I was thinking about this story that I wanted to tell today. It's a little bit different, but it does involve a nursing home. And one of the things that's most apropos about this story is that it is sad, funny, and terrifying
Oh,
for me.
the
And
trifecta.
thank you. Well, I'm going to write that one down. TRI. What is that? TRIY.
Yeah, I'm not gonna let you. No,
Okay.
I'm not gonna tell you.
So anyway, it was a very busy day, and I was exhausted, and I looked, and I just remembered thinking to myself, oh my gosh, I've got a whole night of first calls ahead of me, because it was
Right.
my time to be on call and to do
Uh-huh.
embalmings. And we've talked about this before, but so I had just laid my head down at about 8:30 p.m. and I thought, oh my gosh, please be quiet. Don't.
Mhm. No
Anyway,
first
so
calls.
yeah. So as luck would have it, at 10:15, roughly 10:15,
Ring,
10:20,
ring,
a
ring,
phone
ring.
call in. Yep, phone call came in announcing a death, and I got the address and recognized it about a 45-minute drive, and I thought, oh man.
Mm.
So I got up, I got dressed, and got to the car and drove out, and in the 45 minutes, I kept thinking to myself, so if I do the 45 minutes out, 45 minutes back, 10:30, it could probably be 11, about 11:15 that I get there. And I keep thinking to myself, I should be okay because,
Mhm.
I can still get a good night's sleep. And so I got to the nursing home, gave the name of the individual that I was there to pick up. And she says, oh, yes, we're so sad that she's passed away, but she's in room, I'm going to just say 28B.
Uh-huh.
And she's the second one in, or she's in bed. I don't remember exactly how she said it, but she mentioned something like the second bed, and I went in, and so there were 4 beds to the room. And I
Mhm.
looked on the outside of the room, and I always do, and I always just check to make sure the person's name is listed on the outside of the room.
Right.
And so I saw it. I thought, okay, good, I'm at the right room. So I walked in, and I remembered her saying something about the second bed. So I just walked over. And have you ever been to a nursing home where we walked into a room and you were actually looking at the patients in the room, and
Yeah.
they may be sleeping?
Uh-huh.
How do they look? Just describe them to me.
Mm. They look okay. This is gonna just be horrible.
No, go ahead. It's part of the story. Go ahead.
They all kind of look like they're dead.
Yes, they do. Yeah, they do. And their eyes will be closed. Their mouths are open. There's shallow
Uh-huh.
breathing. You don't know if they're alive.
Right.
And so this was the same situation I found myself as I walked into that room. Now,
Uh-huh.
granted, this hospital or this assisted facility did not put names on their patients.
Oh.
And a lot of places are doing that now. And I don't know why. I don't know the reasoning behind it. But I've always found it odd that, and I always go back to this experience when I pick up someone without a name band.
Mhm.
And so anyway, I got to the bedside of the person that I thought that was, and I moved her to the gurney. No major issues, no problems. Went back to the nurse's station, signed the paperwork that I needed to sign, and then I just said and covered her up, walked back to
Yeah.
the room, covered her up, and then made my way to the car. I put the
Mhm.
gurney in the car, and away we were driving back to the mortuary. And I was looking at the clock, thinking, "Oh my gosh, I've made good time."
Uh-huh.
And driving just as safe and as speedily as I could. Got her into the mortuary, and again took the elevator up. And it was customary to go ahead and start either place them in refrigeration
Uh-huh.
or to place them on a prep table if we knew that they were going to be embalmed. Now, as
Yeah.
I reviewed the story, I couldn't remember if she was to be embalmed, but definitely had to be refrigerated.
Mhm.
So I went on ahead and got up to the top floor, logged her in to our paperwork there at the
Uh-huh.
mortuary, and then grabbed the facility or the gurney once again, pushed it, I believe, into the cooler. And I then took the top cover off of her, unbelted her, slid her, physically pushed her
Mhm.
from a side angle off the gurney onto a level shelf.
Yeah.
And no sooner had I pushed her onto that shelf that I hear this. Ooh, that's cold.
Oh my god. So, this was the wrong woman.
So,
Ooh, that's
so I
cold.
so I said, "Don't worry, you'll be warm in a minute." And I hurried and pulled her back onto the gurney, strapped her
Oh my
back in,
gosh.
hurried and rushed to the phone, and I called the nursing home or assisted living place. And I said, "Hey, is so and so there?" And she said, "Yes, this is her." And I said, "I think I just picked up the wrong body about 45 minutes ago." And
Oh
she
my
goes, "Oh,
gosh.
oh no, hold on a minute." And she runs in there. She says, "You certainly did."
You're going, "Let me tell you how I know it's the wrong body."
So I ran back. I put her in the car, hustled back there, and then she goes, why am I so cold? Now she's talking, of course. Now
Yeah,
she's talking.
now.
Why am I so cold? And I said, oh, no, we're just doing a small little checkup. Don't worry. We'll get you back in your bed in no time.
Oh my gosh.
I said, just rest easy. You're fine. Everything's good. And so got back to the nursing home, immediately rushed in. Again, this is around the midnight hour, 12 or 1 o'clock in the morning at this point.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, well, there goes my whole evening. And see, I was feeling guilty for myself, saying, there goes my evening of rest and sleep. You know what I mean? Because I
Right.
wanted to get back to bed. And so immediately took her in there and put her right back in the bed. And then I said, please come into this room with me. And so
Yeah, tell me who.
she came into the room. And if there were 4 beds, and she said second from the inside, well, they're both on either wall. I had a
Right.
choice, right? And all of them looked the same. So it was funny. Now that I look back on it, embarrassing, because I should
Yeah.
have taken probably a little bit more time to study the thing out and take care of it. And then terrifying because that actually occurred.
Oh my
So
gosh.
and this is probably the first time besides writing it down that it's actually been vocalized.
Yeah.
And so and it's been probably 20 years
Uh-huh.
now. And so the nurse said, this stays here, right? And I said, absolutely. I said,
Yeah.
doesn't look good for anybody. And
Right.
so I took this other lady and got her back 45 minutes later, got her back into the mortuary, redid the time entrance and everything into our logs, and put her on. And this is no joke. When I walked her into the cooler and had the gurney side by side, I put my ear to her mouth.
Are we sure? Before I leave, are we
There are some
sure
old
this is
there are
something?
some old ways of trying to see if someone is still alive. So I
Yeah.
go with the mirror in the prep room. I grabbed a mirror and put the mirror up to her mouth to see if it would fog.
Yep, if there's
Nothing.
any air coming out.
No breathing. I sat and watched her chest. No up or down.
No, up and down.
I took her hand. It was cold at that point, and so I just pushed her over onto the same shelf that this other lady had been on before, and I paused and I just waited. Is she going to say something?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, what a horrible feeling. Now
And so
let's wait a
anyway,
minute.
then the next morning when everybody was back at work, my supervising embalmer said, "Hey, you got 2 calls last evening. Any issues?" And
How do I describe this?
I
Issue?
said, "Oh, shoot. How do I say this? How do
Yeah.
you explain that to your
Mhm.
boss?" But I said, nothing that couldn't be handled.
There you go.
Yeah. So
Yes.
I wasn't lying, and
Right.
I wasn't telling the full truth. However, if I think I probably would have been fired.
You think so?
I do. Yeah, because that was
Oh my gosh.
totally a mistake that should never have happened. But in all honesty and fairness to anyone that steps into a nursing home or assisted facility or
Yeah.
living facility, if you go in late hours, truthfully, I mean, everyone looks passed away.
They all look the same
Everyone looks
too.
deceased. So,
Yeah. And I mean, especially I feel like I don't know, maybe it's just because the nursing home workers know them personally,
yeah,
but come on.
yeah.
Walk them into the room, have a
Mhm.
name tag, have a better description.
Yeah. And that's one thing too I've noticed here is that a lot of times you'll sign paperwork and then they'll hand you they'll tell you what room she's in
Yeah.
or he, and you go in and you just hope and pray they're the only ones right now in the room.
Right.
And they are. Most places will clear the room out of other patients
Yeah, that's
while
interesting
that's
too.
done. But in
Uh-huh.
this case, I guess because of the hour, that wasn't
Yeah.
done. But a lot of times right now they have no bands on them at all.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, it is not a bad thing because everyone can go ahead and run it the way they want. But I always suggest to families now, and I think maybe this is one of the main reasons why that suggestion is always done is that why don't you take a moment, come into the facility, see your mom one last time before she's cremated, before
Yeah.
you do an immediate burial, before whatever else it happens to her. Why don't you come on in and just spend a moment or two with her. And I do that for two reasons, because I want to make sure that, number one, it's the right individual.
Right.
Yeah. And so, because all I have now is the name band I've put on her or him.
Right.
And so if there's no identification there at the hospital or the nursing home, then hospitals they have to identify the
They
patient.
have to. Yeah.
But nursing facilities, not so much. And I don't understand the reasoning why, unless maybe the patients themselves complain, or maybe they feel like it's a hazard to their health because they'll keep pulling on it. And
Yeah.
what, I don't know exactly what it is, but all I ever really see sometimes on identification bracelets anymore is fall risk.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then they're brightly colored, and that's all that's on their wrist. And so I
Right.
guess that's, so if the patient's seen in the hallway standing up and down, the nurse will immediately see that band and say, "Oh my gosh, this person needs some assistance,"
Yeah.
in case they're going to fall. It's kind of a weird phenomena right
Yeah.
now within the death industry about individuals that are not identified by their caregivers. And of course, when someone passes away at home in hospice, you don't ever expect the name band to be on an individual, but
Right.
because they're usually the only person there, and there's family there that can identify to you
Yeah.
that is truly them. So I don't know. I can see some instances, but not all instances. There should be some. And if I had to do anything different with some of these nursing homes and facilities, I would definitely ask that each of them identify their patients. Because
Right.
would you want to know, if you were a
Yeah.
doctor, what if they're in the wrong bed
Yeah.
and a
Exactly.
doctor comes in, because some of these people have dementia, they could easily
Mm-hmm.
climb into the wrong bed, and you're now giving them prescriptions or an IV for the person that's supposed to be in that bed, but not the individual that you're or that's sleeping in there now. So it's kind of a scary situation within the whole realm
Yeah.
of death. And I find it one of the hardest things, and I'll never forget how scared I was traveling back from
Mm-hmm.
the mortuary back to the assisted care facility,
Yeah.
and then seeing that nurse and her pale face,
Yeah.
yeah,
Because it
because
was her mistake too.
right, you're exactly right, and because most of the times people will go in with you, but this instance, no, I was told the bed, and I just thought, oh, geez, and I was going off the order listing on the door.
Yeah. I mean, you've experienced a lot of scary things in your career.
Mm-hmm.
This is definitely different, but it's just as terrifying.
It is, and this is a reality terror.
Yeah.
It's something that you just. I mean, God, what if I'd been into an accident?
Oh
There's just
man.
so many
Yeah.
scenarios that would run through your mind that
Right.
would have happened that didn't, of which I'm grateful
Mhm.
for. So every once in a while, when you go to these parties and they have these name badges that they put on you,
Yeah.
I'm kind of glad. Because as the game night progresses, you don't have to remember names.
I know. Oh my gosh. Every name badge you see now is just
You
a
just yeah,
haunting
you just
reminder. If only.
oh my word. Oh, and I felt anyway. I can't go into it any more than that. It breaks my heart to even have to rehash this, but
Yeah.
it is something that has transpired, and I'm sure that it has probably transpired with other people as well. Now,
Yeah.
there could have been a pride issue where you
Mhm.
go in and you just say, "Oh, I know which one it is," right?
Right.
Where I should have probably turned around and said, "Hey, you've given me 4 beds here. You've got one patient. They all look the same. Can
Right.
you come in and just tell me which patient it is?" I should have done that. But in retrospect, being only in the industry for probably, I don't know, maybe 2 years, maybe 3 years at the time, I thought that I knew better.
Right.
Thought that I knew exactly the format and the rotation process of nursing homes.
Mhm.
Guess what, Holly? I didn't.
I was just tired.
And I was tired. Well, I don't like
Yeah.
you can't blame that, but there was there had to be some sort of a factor there with exhaustion.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So now every time, and I can see now why even up to the time of persons or people being buried, that they would, like, for instance, our policy right now is up until the person goes to the crematory, up until the person that casket is closed, the identification stays on them.
Yeah.
And that's because if you have 3 or 4 services going on and you have 3 or 4 caskets, you need to know immediately which body or which individual you're taking to a certain service. If you're taking them just for burial, you don't want to be burying the wrong individual. And
Right. That's
so
just good
you just
practice.
always look up and you just look up. And I think that same practice, that standard operating procedure should also be instituted within the facilities that individuals are picked up from.
Right.
It would only make sense to me.
I
So
know. Hospitals have it down, but nursing homes need to get with the picture.
I agree. And so anyway, any other thoughts on that one, Holly?
Oh man, no. I just wonder what that lady was thinking. Obviously, she wasn't thinking very much because she didn't wake up going to the gurney, didn't
Mhm.
wake up being strapped in, didn't wake up having something over her face,
Can you
or
believe
the
this?
long car ride.
45 minutes.
45 minutes, yeah.
45 minutes.
And
Or a
then,
total of 90 minutes if we on our trip
yeah,
back. So I did. Oh, just so you know, when she said she was cold, I always carry in the first call vehicles, we always carry an extra blanket, and so I
yeah,
did place a blanket over the carrier on her, but I didn't cover her face this time
right.
because I knew she was alive, and so I didn't want to cover her. So I did put an extra blanket on her, which seemed to suffice the fact that she immediately went back to bed, or sleep.
Oh,
This
yeah.
was I found out she was about 93 years old, and so I'm sure that the majority of her life at that point was sleeping.
Yeah, I'm
So
sure.
yeah, so it probably wasn't and you know, I'm sure that she traveled quite a bit for medical assistance and stuff because at that point, their medical staff, if there were issues, they would have to travel the patient to the doctor. The doctor wouldn't come to them.
Right.
And so I'm pretty sure that was happening too. And she probably just thought it was another trip.
Yeah.
But I didn't let her in on any additional information.
Nope.
Yeah, that's exactly what's happening. Don't worry, you'll be back in bed in no
Don't worry
time.
about it. Yep.
We'll have you
Oh
back
my
in
gosh.
bed, nice and comfortable.
Oh
Uh,
man, just ooh, that's cold.
mhm. That's cold.
Oh my
What?
gosh. Man.
I think I can only imagine it's
Funny.
one of those cartoon characters where your eyes automatically bug out
Yeah.
and
Ooh.
your mouth drops down and you go, "What in the world have I just done?"
Yeah.
I have to have had the wrong patient. Otherwise,
Uh-huh.
the cold revived her. And that was the other story I was trying to tell myself. Is
Oh,
that
wow.
the intense cold caused her heart to kick back in or caused her
Right.
to be revived in some manner or way, and
Oh
which of
my
course
god.
wasn't true, but
That's so terrifying.
whatever you could do to rationalize it in your own mind.
Right.
Yeah. So,
Especially before calling the nursing home,
mhm.
because
Yeah.
then you're just thinking, "Okay, what is actually going on here?"
And the other part of the story is that the nurse did not go in to make sure, because they usually strip down the bed,
Right.
right? After a person has
Oh
passed
my
away.
gosh, yeah.
And so if you were looking 45 minutes later, what in the world are you not going in to check to make sure that the bed has been cleared or ready for another
Right.
patient, whatever the case might be? So there you have an individual that's also still behind the desk when I go in there. And so, yeah, when I made the call, she says, "Oh, yeah, we'll go ahead and keep the bed that as it is." And I thought to myself, you should have already had that stripped.
Right.
You should have been the one calling me.
Mhm.
Right? Because usually within 5
Yeah.
to 10 minutes, they go in and strip a bed. If they notice that the wrong patient had been taken, it would seem to me like
Yeah.
she would be calling me and saying, "Frank, you need to turn right around and come back and
Right.
bring her back. You've got the wrong patient."
Mhm.
So, and then all that would have been, but the more and more I think about it, man, hospitals, like even nursing homes now, if I forget paperwork, they'll say, "Hey, Frank, you forgot your
Yeah,
paperwork." So,
they're very much on top of it.
within 5 to 10 minutes of my leaving the facility.
Right.
So I turn right around and pick it up. But in this case, there was no communication whatsoever. I don't know if she was overly busy, but I don't know how she would have been at that time of night.
Yeah.
But the whole thing was very strange to me in the fact that, I don't know, in retrospect, looking back at all of the different things that could have happened, should have happened, and that did not.
Yeah.
And so I'm just grateful that, okay, can you imagine if I knew she was to be embalmed and I put her on the embalming table, she didn't make
Right.
a sound and
And
I
you
made
didn't
that
wake up.
incision.
I know.
Oh man. Yeah. You can drive yourself crazy thinking about things like that and
Uh-huh.
how it could easily have affected somebody else. But yeah, it's
Luckily.
scary. Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't know.
that's one of those moments that you just reflect on
Yeah,
throughout your life and think, oh man, that could have been so much worse.
I agree. But yeah, it's definitely something that you want to remember and learn from
Yeah,
and
but
never
probably
repeat.
not dwell on. We want to remember it, but we also really want to forget it.
Oh man, but when you start looking at your history and what it is that you've done throughout your life,
Mm-hmm.
you have to this is definitely one of those things where you just have to sit back and just shake your head.
Yeah, and say that
You'll
happened.
Yeah, and you may smile. You
Uh-huh.
you may cry.
Yeah, depends on the day.
And then you may just know that at the end of the day, well, everything worked out okay.
Mm-hmm.
Everything worked out fine. No one's the wiser
Yeah,
until now.
except for
And
all of our coffiners now.
oh, coffiners, yeah. Don't think bad of me. Don't think bad of Holly just because she's bringing it out of me.
Oh my
No, but
gosh. I
yeah,
mean, yeah, you have a certain degree of human error in every job.
I know.
But in this job, in your career, that is much
Yeah,
greater stakes
it
than
is.
I'd say any other thing.
I agree. But when you those of you that know me, coffiners, don't think bad of me. Don't look at me and don't always say hi when you see me. Don't by walking by me. I'll know why you're walking past me.
Just maybe next time you know you're gonna see Frank, be wearing a name tag. That might
Oh,
help.
or just say, hey, you remember me, right?
You remember me? Do you
You
recognize me?
look very familiar, but I don't know your name.
Yeah. Hmm.
Oh my word. Oh dear.
Oh,
So
wow.
anyway,
Yeah,
uh,
that's definitely a different sort of story, but we will just end it there.
oh my gosh. I don't know if you can, Holly. Can you end it there?
I don't
Can
know.
coffiners go to bed tonight thinking that their loved one's safe in the nursing home
Oh
they've
my gosh.
selected? They are.
Maybe
Trust me.
next time you
They
check,
are. They are.
make sure they have identification and no, they'll be
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah. If you have a loved one in a nursing facility, that's not a bad idea. Just kind of request that they place a name band on that individual.
Right.
And
I
that's
think it's
okay.
just good practice.
Yeah, it's okay. Your loved one may not like it, but I always say that when someone's in the care of someone else, they should always have a band on them, especially
Yeah.
when you're in a facility with two to
So
three
many other
hundred people.
people.
Yeah,
Right.
well, maybe 100 to 200 people, but yeah, definitely. And I'm sure that the nurse made comment to the fact that, hey, we should probably, in a generic
Yeah.
statement or way of in her next nurses meeting,
Right.
we should
We should.
should identify some of our patients.
Yep. They go, "Oh, why are you bringing that up?" No reason.
Why do you ask the question? Don't you think it's a good idea?
No, I wanna know why. Oh gosh.
Why?
Going back to, how do I explain this?
Oh, yeah, you would ask that question, huh? I'm not too good.
Yep.
I don't think on my feet too fast. Well, then sit down.
Yeah, sit down. Take
Oh
a minute.
man, but anyway, if it would happen to me and I was that nurse, that's definitely one thing I would be suggesting.
Yeah, it's
And
definitely an experience where you look back and say, "Okay, how can we prevent this from happening in the future?"
there is one other thing too with most places that you go to and you pick up a loved one, or even at a home, they have what's called a HRRF form, which stands for Human Remains Release form.
Yeah.
And so most of the times they'll even hand you that form so that you have some additional information for that individual that you're supposed to be picking up. But a lot of times people don't even do that. And I just suggested to one of the hospice care workers, I said, it would be good because one hospice facility in the area in which I'm working now has taken upon themselves that if the person dies at home, there's no reason to have the HRRF form. And so I said to the lady, I said, look, when I don't get a doctor's name, then I don't know the time of death. I don't know the date of death.
You don't get anything.
All I have is a name. Can you please, in your next nursing meeting, just suggest that an HRRF form is developed, written out, and handed every time to the mortuary every time someone passes away?
Right.
It would just be so much easier. I don't have to call you every time we have a death. I'm trying to
track down the doctor.
That's exactly right. Yeah, that's exactly right. And it's mainly the doctor issue that we have. But yeah, so hopefully we'll start to see some changes there within hospice and home deaths. But anyway, yeah. So good to have that one aired out, Holly.
Yeah. Air out all the dirty laundry, and now we can start on a clean slate.
Oh my gosh, yes. Clean it.
Yep. Yes, thank you everyone for listening in to another episode. Please be sure to like, share, subscribe wherever you listen, and follow us on Instagram at Coffin Talkin. Send us a DM if you want to chat, and send us an email at letsbefrank@coffintalkin.com.
Thanks, Coffiners.